82nd episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the third week of March 2012. March Madness. This episode is titled CloudForce Ripple Effect. CloudForce Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud community experts. And I'm your host, Jason Atwood. Joining me today for the 82nd time in a row, consistent man that he is the co-host of CloudFocus Weekly and co-picker of CloudFocus App Picks of the Week, Justin Adelstein.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like in honor of March Madness, we should have done like a app bracket. And we could have... Why did I think of this just now as we came on the air? We could have done like...
On the air.
Just
like
a mini... Too. Yeah, on the air. Like a mini bracket of apps and like seeded like them. It. And then maybe we'll do this next week because the tournament's like 3 weeks long anyway. Okay. So why don't we maybe table that idea? Man, I shouldn't have just spilled the beans.
No. So what the idea is...
That's a fun one.
Is you're picking apps. Apps. From where? App Exchange or just anywhere?
Maybe we go... We have 82 episodes. We go through the 82 episodes. We pick... I don't know. Let's just say... Let's not do 64. Let's do...
32.
32 or even 16. We
Sweet
pick
16
of those apps.
Okay.
And we seed them. And we say what's the most useful app.
And then it gets down to the winner?
Gets down to the winner.
It's not bad.
We'll do that next week.
So basically, thanks for listening. See you next week.
Yeah.
With a cool idea.
Well, that's a good... why did I think of that as we just started talking about it?
Great idea to just talk about it when
we have to write that down somewhere we don't forget it.
Put that down. All right. Well, we have an agenda, and that wasn't on it.
No, it wasn't.
We're going to talk about my blog post about 5 ways to repurpose your iPad, because the iPad is coming. Tomorrow it's going to hit the stores at 8 a.m., so I'll talk a little bit about that and some ways. And then basically CloudForce San Francisco is today, and they've made some announcements. So Salesforce's like baby conference, usually held...
It's not so small anymore.
Well, it's like 10,000 people.
It's a big boy conference in San Francisco.
Right, but it's their baby conference to Dreamforce.
Sure.
Which is 40,000 people.
It's perfect timing for the San Francisco one because it's literally right in the middle.
Yep.
It's 6 months.
So they made some announcements, so probably more as the weeks go on, or the week goes on. But we'll talk about a couple that we know already because the press release just hit. And then we'll talk about the death of a sort of a pretty big deal, I think, in the world of collaboration. At the end, then we'll make our CloudFocus App Pick of the Weeks. I have one that's so cool. It's hard because I can't pick it because I want it because I can't get it, but I want it. But I'll talk about it because
I just started using your last 2 app picks of the week.
That's right.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And
they're going to get highly seeded then.
Yeah. One of them, I think one of them should be really highly seeded. Instacast is phenomenal. If you're not listening to this podcast on Instacast, stop, go download Instacast, subscribe in Instacast, and then start like 3 or 4 minutes in.
Very good. Yep. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Podcast listener.
Yep.
I use it all the time now.
Yeah, I love it.
Still has some bugs. Like, if I were to talk to the developer, I'd say, one, it doesn't stream from one video to another. It stops when it tries to play the second one. Like, it does only audio, no video. It also doesn't do the thing that I really, really want to do, which is to download in the background. It will tell you that there's new available.
Yes, it doesn't. You have to go into it to download it.
It won't actually just start up in the background and pull it down.
I want it to just download.
And I don't know if that's a iOS limitation, like that you can't just be pulling in tons of data.
My guess is it is, because why wouldn't iTunes just do it?
Right.
Or
nothing downloads in the background unless you start it, and then it'll keep. So anyway, but it's a very good app. It's worth it. The other thing is, I wish they did a universal app. Buying it on the iPad and on the iPhone.
That's a pain.
Little boosh. All right. So, speaking of things that are not boosh, 5 ways to repurpose your old iPad. My blog post this week.
It's a short but poignant,
yes,
to the point blog post that is timely and relevant for all that have iPads and who are buying new iPads.
I'm glad I got by the blog content at Blogmaster.
You did. You got by me. And I thought it was relevant and timely, so we put it out there. You wrote it. So I'll explain it.
Okay, makes perfect
you basically
sense.
Wrote a list. We love lists.
Yes.
And you wrote 5 ways to repurpose your old iPad. I'm not going to read all 5. You can go to the blog and read it yourself. I will tell you my favorite
one. Did you learn one? Did you learn anything? They're all something you probably you could do.
I didn't learn anything necessarily from you.
Okay.
I'll say which one is my favorite one.
Yep.
My favorite one's your number 1. I don't know if you really meant this to be a list from 1 to 5, but number one, donate it. I think that these sites like Gazelle for Good,
right.
even more, like, you just donate it. Like, right. I don't need this. I donate it. Now, if you don't want to donate it, you can sort of the spin on this is recycle it. So again, Gazelle or YouRenew, they recycle these electronic devices. Right. They will pay you. I've actually done this with old iPhones. You say, I want to send you an iPhone. They quote you a price. It's usually pretty good. They then mail you a box,
right,
with the with all the postage already paid for.
Everything you need.
You just put the box together, slap the label on it, put the phone in the box,
right,
and put it in the mail, and then they send you a check.
Yeah, you can easily get more money if you sell on eBay. I've done the analysis, and I usually sell my stuff on eBay, but selling stuff on eBay is a pain. It really is. It's a pain. It's multi-step, and even I use a great piece of software called Garage Sale, which sort of helps you do it. It does all this great stuff. It's still a pain.
eBay's gotten better.
Yeah,
a lot better.
I might go back and try again because I'll have, as of this weekend, I'll have many devices that I need to sell, including ones that I've been holding off selling for a while now that I should be selling, but I'm not. Anyway,
so what's your favorite of these?
The one that I kind of,
I think I know which one you're gonna say.
Well, the one that I'm going to do. How about that?
That's the one. Number 4
is Childproof It.
There it
which is you can turn these devices. There are a lot of great applications and things for kids, and while there has been the ability to lend one of our iPads in the house to the child, 6.5-year-old girl, to lock it down and unlock it is a pain, and so it will be nice to have just the oldest iPad, now maybe early 3 years old, be sort of locked down permanently, where I can then, it can be, we were calling it the family iPad, which then can be used for her to look at and do stuff, but I know it's locked down and always locked down, as opposed to mine, where I kind of had to lock it, unlock it. I had to put the password on it, but then, of course, it has, has Chatter, it has email, it has everything.
It has all your work stuff
and
on
it has iMessage now, which is even worse, because I've had my daughter playing on the iPad, it'd be like, you just got a message from Justin. He says, "Boosh, what's that mean?" And I'll be like, oh, that's a little side joke we have. So, so I like the idea of really, and they have really good ability to lock these things down. I'll say, if you want to get even separate, if you want to go even further, I'll give you a little trick to all you parents out there. If you have Apple devices for routers, like Apple Airport Express or Airport Extreme, you can lock down those to only accept known devices. So you can say, only allow this device to attach to it. Better yet, you can then put time limits on that device. Oh. So basically, I can say the family iPad can only connect to the internet from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At 8 o'clock at night, that family iPad's not going to be able to connect to the internet. So it's kind of you can even go a further step if you want to. All right, so that's the blog post. It's at blog.arkusinc.com. You can read the other 3 that you don't know. Let's get on to the big news, which is the CloudForce San Francisco. Yep. And the 2 announcements, I literally walked in and you told me these announcements, so I had no time to read or know anything about them.
So in typical Salesforce fashion, they generally do this the mornings before their keynotes. They put out a press release,
right,
essentially saying what they're the big reveals. It's very different than Apple, who we've been talking about for the last bunch of weeks, and their big reveals where they leave it you guessing until the keynote, and then the keynote happens, and then there's the one last thing, and then everyone gasps and it's a big surprise.
Right.
Salesforce says, here's what we're doing today, and then you go to the keynote and you watch them present it. So Salesforce is announcing the title of their press release is Salesforce.com unveils the next generation of the social enterprise, dramatically expands with Salesforce Rypple and Salesforce Site.com.
Mm-hmm.
So Rypple, as we've talked about, was purchased by Salesforce maybe 3 months ago, something along those lines, 2-3 months ago.
Yep.
It is now Salesforce Rypple. It is GA. You can use it today. We actually signed up for it a couple months ago when we saw the announcement, so you could have been using it. But now it's officially Salesforce Rypple.
Right.
And their promise is to be an integration with Salesforce.com, in particular with Chatter, coming in the month of April via an AppExchange application. Okay. Similar to the Salesforce for social networks, the Twitter and Facebook integration, I imagine.
Give me the lowdown on Rypple again, because I
Rypple.
So for the people who don't know,
Rypple is the performance management, employee management, sort of HR, goal setting, milestones application that is more of a social and mobile game sort of experience. That's how I saw it. It was almost like a game, if you will.
It has badges, it has awards, it has...
So that's
you
the
don't
kind
need
of
these stinking badges.
No, and that's the kind of thing that is going to be part of the integrations with Chatter, supposedly. You get an award or a badge in Rypple, and it posts to your Chatter feed or something along those lines. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
It's just the announcement at an event, right?
Pricing?
Social performance management for every employee. Pricing, I believe, is $5 user a month. I believe, if I'm reading this press release correctly.
Basic is free. Phenomenal plan is $9 per user per month.
Why did I say 5?
And then premium plan is 5.
That's why I said 5.
Okay. Build high performance teams, coaching tools, 360 feedback, user administration. So again, I think we've oversimplified it by saying it's got, it's like awards and whatever for HR. But there are reviews. You can do reviews. You can do goal setting. You can do all that stuff. Again, when I looked at it before and I signed up and we played around with it for 10, 20 minutes at max, I kind of thought, okay, but man, can't I just build this in Salesforce pretty quickly with like 4 custom objects? That's what I felt. Yeah, I can't do award stuff, but I could, we have a development team, and if I wanted to, I could create a bunch of GIFs and have them popped into a Chatter feed based on things that happened. I know I could do that. So, I don't know. It's built. It looked very cool. I know it's something that a lot of companies struggle. HR is something people struggle. Goal setting is something people struggle with. So, interesting.
So I'm going to read. I know we shouldn't be reading. I want to read 2 paragraphs out of this thing, just to explain what the integration points are going to be, because I think they're interesting.
All right. If you're using Instacast, you can hit the
forward
button
4 speed
3 times.
So Salesforce customers will be able to motivate their teams by giving them thanks directly within Salesforce on leads, accounts, and more. For example, a salesperson will be able to give thanks to a customer service agent for providing great service to a customer, or a sales manager will be able to give thanks to a sales rep for closing a deal. These thanks, which are part of the Rypple,
Rypple
badge,
effect?
The Rypple effect.
Nice.
The badges that you can earn in Rypple, they'll appear in the person's Chatter feed, providing managers and peers with visibility into achievements in real time. So that's one of the things that are going to happen.
So I'm on an opportunity, got closed one. I give thanks to the sales guy.
You can give thanks to the sales guy.
Hey, sales guy, thanks. And then that would flow to the Rypple as part of his thanks goals, maybe?
As well as inside the Chatter feed.
Okay.
What also will be coming is Salesforce Rypple for Chatter. So managers and teams will be able to create custom badges to recognize team and individual achievements. Appearing in the Chatter feed, others can see, comment, or like on those particular achievements, whether finance awards a team for coming in under budget, or an engineer is recognized for a critical new development. The combination of Salesforce Rypple and Chatter will help break down departmental silos and provide management with visibility into key contributions, all within the employee social network, which, as we've come to learn, the social enterprise, one key cog in the social enterprise is the employee social network. So Rypple seems to be a big part of delivering on that third of the social enterprise as being sold by Salesforce.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in HR enough to sort of dig into this. I think once it's integrated with Salesforce, I'll step back in and play with it again. We can roll it out for our team, see how we use it. Yeah. I think we use Chatter very much like that. I consider something likes as a kind of a thanks. Like when I like something that you post, I'm kind of saying, hey, I like that thing you did or didn't do. Of course, there's no measurement of that in Salesforce other than the new collaboration, whatever. But your collaboration meter. But I think that's kind of interesting. I started to think about that, and I think, boy, I wish it was really integrated in Salesforce. I wish it was like in Salesforce, like 100%, not like a tab, not like another app that kind of data flows back through APIs.
IPAs,
IPAs. Where's my brain?
Yeah,
it's in a beer bottle.
In the hops.
Alrighty. And then what else they announced?
Salesforce site.com. So that's a standalone URL, site.com, just like data.com, just like...
So let's name them off now.
All right.
Site.com.
Site.com, data.com, database.com.
Desk.com.
Desk.com, force.com.
Salesforce.com.
Salesforce.com, that's 6. Do.com.
Do.com, yeah.
Does Ripple.com count?
Well, Ripple's not a word.
Well, it is a word.
Well, this is a misspelling of Ripple.
Cloud.com, I'm sure exists.
I don't think they have that.
Does touch.com exist?
Touch is at touch.salesforce.com. They don't own that URL.
They don't own touch.
But that's kind of an interesting one. They are really building some of these key URLs.
Yep.
And you can see a strategy forming of building these key simple, functional product URLs and launching them independent of each other. They're all Salesforce branded.
Yep.
Right? I just went to site.com.
It's a big coming soon logo, unless it's changed since this morning.
Try it now. It has all the pricing.
Oh wow,
everything.
that was, as of this morning, it was just a big coming now. But now it's like content management.
Right.
Go with the video and
the whole
free
thing.
Trial, log in. Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay. So site.com is essentially a rebrand of Siteforce, which was GA in spring 12. That's my take on it.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused because Siteforce to me was sort of an internal application you use to help build and deploy Salesforce, what they called Salesforce.com sites.
Yep.
Which I have built and deployed without a force of sales, without paying this. I just did it myself by code. And so it was something you couldn't use by itself. It was like you needed to have Salesforce and then...
But you really didn't necessarily... Well, yes. For Siteforce, you needed Salesforce because you needed a Salesforce site. What site.com does is it breaks it out and it says, you are buying a site. You don't need Salesforce.com. You don't... I mean, presumably you're going to want Salesforce.com because you're going to want to
You get an integrated database.
Yeah, you want to integrate it to Salesforce. That's presumably the idea. But I think what they're trying to do is say, no, this can stand alone. This is a cloud-based CMS with a content delivery network where you can build forms, drag and drop, visual design studios, and publish to multiple places at one time, keeping a consistent look and feel. So I think that was one of the big announcements as part of site.com, which is that you can build these sites and have them publish your content to a variety of locations, whether it be your website, to Facebook, to Twitter, whatever it may be.
Right.
It's being published in a consistent way at the same time. So that's what I get from it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the inside. They've included Chatter in it. So it looks like site.com is a shell of Salesforce. So you are picking up a Salesforce license with it. So I think when we talk about pricing, which I think you've already had a question.
Yeah, I have the pricing.
Yeah, so let's talk about the pricing.
So it's generally available today.
Yes, it is.
If you go to site.com, it's GA.
Yep.
So site.com charges per site and per website developer user. The price of a site is $1,500 per month.
Yep.
It can be purchased standalone or added to existing Salesforce.com installs. Not really installs, instances.
I have a Salesforce instance. I want to add a site to it.
A site that's part of site.com. It's $1,500 a month for the site. Publisher users are $125.
That sounds like an enterprise license. I'm just comparing to what's already out there.
Contributors are $20 a user.
Sort of a lighter license.
A month, per month.
Right.
They are running a special.
Yeah.
I'll let you all know. I'll let you all in on the special.
Yeah.
From today, March 15th, through April 30th of this year, 2012, you can purchase a site plus 2 publishers plus 2 contributors for $8.25 a month.
So we started this conversation before the podcast, but I think we should bring it into our audience.
Yeah, let me ask you the question
that I didn't answer before the podcast.
That you didn't answer.
Yep.
Because you know more about these things than I do. One of those rare occurrences.
Well, I've been building websites since 1996, so yes.
I was in diapers.
I
wasn't in diapers.
Building and hosting. You were in diapers when you were 20-something years old?
I was kidding.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what the math is on that.
Yeah. That sounds expensive. Comment?
So you're right. Off the top of my head.
Sorry.
Okay.
The $1,500 a month sounds expensive.
Yes.
The $125 a month sounds expensive.
Right. For the publisher.
For the publisher. And the $20 a user a month for the contributor sounds expensive.
What you're saying is all sounds expensive.
Well, like, if you think about how many people do I need to manage a website? And if you're talking like, Arkus website, well, 1 or 2.
No.
We are all contributors to our website. So we have that many of these licenses. But if you're like Coca-Cola,
right?
Like how many contributors to your, maybe you control that with change management and processes, but you're going to want more than a few. So with other web content management systems, you're not really paying per user necessarily.
Yeah. So let's go.
Go ahead.
Let's go and talk about what websites usually cost. This is actually one of my favorite conversations because I get asked a lot by people because they know I'm in web. Before I was more of a Salesforce guy, I was more of a web guy, and they always say, what's a website cost? And I always say
it's free.
I say it's anywhere between free and $10 million a year, and they're like, and I said, okay, if you're just a little designer and want to put up something on one of these free blogs, that's free.
A WordPress blog is free.
If you're the National Football League who has a dynamic site managed by with millions of pieces of content and has video and real-time, their infrastructure and upkeep is probably in the millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, right? If you're Apple, you're talking $100 million a year to run their website.
If you're a financial services firm with hundreds of millions of clients and they need to log in to pay bills,
right? Yeah, then it's $50 million in hardware and another $20 million a year in upkeep. So $1,600 a month when you compare it to zero seems like a lot a month. When you compare it to $1 million a month, it doesn't seem like as much. But what it looks like to me, the first thing I thought about was comparing it against Squarespace. Now, Squarespace is a cloud hosted, it's truly cloud, so everybody's on one version. It has an editor, it has a really good template system, it has built-in widgets you can drag and drop, you can edit the CSS, you can also contribute, you can build, it has built-in things like you can build message boards or built-in like modules, which is something that I don't think this thing has.
Plugins a lot, like the WordPress plugin type of thing.
Yeah, but it has like very rich feature plugins, like that you can build features to your website that usually take extra software.
Right.
So my first thing is, that's great, and I've always thought this about sites, it's like, that's great, but you kind of have to build everything from scratch. Most of these places, most of these content management software come with sort of packageable add-ons to make more functionality.
I wonder if site.com, without derailing you too much, will eventually have its own space within the App Exchange.
Its own store or whatever.
Well, there's the mobile App Exchange, and there's the Chatter Exchange, and I wonder if there'll be like little plugins that are easy plug and play. Right. And the infrastructure you'd think is there to get them in there.
Say I want to build like a common one. I want to put a poll on my website. On Squarespace, that's literally it's a click of a button, and you add a poll, and you can add a poll, and you can change it, and it'll keep the answers, and it'll let people vote. Simple thing, allowing people to vote and generate a graph, but if you actually have to build that, it's not simple anymore. I gotta capture the answers, I gotta put cookies on people so I know that who voted, I have to build the graph interactively, I've gotta have, there's complexity to it. So I just went to Squarespace, I'm like, what's their pricing nowadays, since I hadn't been there for a while. They're basically, for their top tier, their business plan, is $36 a month, and you get all the features, unlimited page, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, custom domain, unlimited support, 6 audiences, what I think means like 6 different types of brands, unlimited editors, advanced control, form builder, user registration, and all these business features.
Oof.
So that seems like a lot for $36 a month versus $1,600 a month. Now I will say what Salesforce is, I think the reason why Salesforce is pricing this higher is because they realize that the value of having just a standalone website is somewhere in the $50 a month thing. The value of having a standalone website that connects up to your back-end database and does it without you thinking about it and does it easily and is more to the millions of dollars.
The dynamic binding data elements.
Absolutely. So I think it's, for us, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, all right, let's move ours off. We're on a free content management software called Plone. You have to pay for it to host it, but whatever. I'm like, all right, let's look at it for us. $19,000 a year. That's a lot of money to run a website for a small shop. It's not a lot of money to run for a bigger shop. Now, what they do offer that I think is unique is their CDN, their Content Delivery Network. That stuff costs money. And what they're doing is they're leveraging the one that they've already built and are using for Salesforce because they have users all over the world and they want to have, when you click on a graphic, they don't want that graphic to have to come all the way from San Francisco. Right. So it gets spread out, CSS and all that gets spread out to local servers. And then it gets cached there. Most places, Squarespace, all these other places, they don't have that ability to do CDN. CDN is something that's a high-end, very, very high-end feature. Or Salesforce says, we already have it. We're already paying for it. We're just going to sort of pass on the cost to you, but you get it out of the box. In fact, when I built my Force.com site, one of the things you have to realize is that you do have this caching going on, and when you're looking at stuff, you're like, why hasn't that changed? I changed the CSS. Why has it changed? Oh, because it's a cached version, so you have to kind of, it's actually something it makes developing a little bit more difficult, but makes scaling very easy. You can scale tremendously, and as we just watched the Apple Store go down for, 5 hours,
right?
If Apple has problems scaling, so I think it's for the company that,
It's for Coca-Cola.
I don't think it's for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola would never do this. Nope.
Really?
I think that's the problem is, it's not for Coca-Cola, it's not for us. So
who's it for?
Right. So I'm trying to think of our customers, like financial services.
You don't think it's for Coca-Cola to have like a landing page that integrated with their Facebook page kind of thing?
Yeah, it's great. Coca-Cola has millions and millions of dollars already invested. They're going to replace it with this?
Maybe.
No. I think it's for more the 50 to 100 person company or startups that are kind of growing rapidly but realize they need to scale and they don't want to build the infrastructure themselves, which again, a lot of people do because they know it, and a lot of people come from the technology infrastructure, so they can say, oh, well, I can build a website.
So let's just go through some of the features here at a high level, bullet point type of thing. So template-driven designs.
Cool.
So drag and drop type of stuff. Drag and drop forms. So with dynamic data binding. Right. So turning sites into scalable forms that can collect and integrate with your back-end Salesforce.
It's a big feature we've always asked, which is web to anything.
Web to anything.
Give me web to anything. They're basically saying web to anything is $1,600 a month.
Yeah. Built-in collaboration with Chatter. So SalesforceSite.com users can connect with other Salesforce users, web developers from external entities with Chatter groups. That's just Chatter stuff.
That's basically saying on the inside you got Chatter.
Right.
Okay, great.
And multi-language, which is interesting. So again, multi-language with the Content Delivery Network, allowing you to sort of scale globally if you wanted to. That's where I say, oh, Coca-Cola, but I guess like you said, Coca-Cola's dumping millions and millions.
Yeah, they already have the infrastructure. They would fire hundreds of people to do. I mean, it just wouldn't happen. It would have to be a company that sort of is net new or is going from one scale to the next scale and is looking at how do we go to that next level. Again, you're not going to run Facebook off of Siteforce. There are limits. I'm sure there are limits in here. There are things. And there are reasons why even the biggest, when these big cloud computing companies, like the Dropboxes, I'm trying to think of a couple others, they're talking about now is how do they scale, and they all almost bring it back in-house. Like Facebook brought it back in-house. A lot of people are bringing it back in-house because you can scale faster and cheaper by doing it yourself. So it's not for the company that can afford the servers. They wouldn't use this. It's for the people who would never build out that kind of architecture. I could, again, I think the 50 to 100 person firm who is already paying a lot for probably their web server, but it's not doing as much. It has some elements in it, and they're looking at how do we scale it up and how do we get it to really be a much more interactive. The thing that I think they're going to fail on here is that what makes website building easy and useful is really that ability to add on stuff. And you can say, oh, there's going to be. It's been almost a year now, and there's still not one thing on the App Exchange that you can plug and play that builds out a Siteforce like Siteforce discussion boards or Siteforce. It still doesn't doesn't exist. And so if you want everybody to build it themselves, yeah, they're not going to do that.
No.
People don't want to build their own discussion board. I built my own discussion board. You don't want to do that.
No. And once someone does build a good one, you want to just be able to use it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what you get when you're using WordPress or Joomla
or all these other content management systems, or even Plone or whatever. It's because there's stuff that's built. Like there's a built-in module that does this, and there's another one that does this, and there's another one that does this.
Right.
But you have to have enough community to build them out. So,
by the way, a small one. Thanks for your expertise on the site.com. They are renaming things. So Salesforce Rypple.
Yep.
Sort of tucked away in this press release is mentions of Salesforce Heroku and Salesforce Radiant 6.
Okay.
So they're just, throwing Salesforce in front of things that are seemingly standalone still.
It makes sense. You have such great branding with Salesforce. Don't hide the brand in some ubiquitous word like Heroku or Rypple.
Same thing with SalesforceDesk.com and SalesforceDo.com.
Right.
That's how they are mentioned throughout this press release.
That's good branding. Yep. You don't go. You buy the Apple iPad. You buy the Apple MacBook. You buy the Apple whatever. I mean, there's reasons why you put your name in front of it. I mean, some of it doesn't make sense. Salesforce Heroku. It's a Salesforce for a development platform. Like, it becomes its own brand.
It's a company name.
Yeah.
Salesforce Heroku.
I'm always surprised that Salesforce didn't go to Force. It just didn't change their name and turn into Force.
Yeah. And a lot of equity built up in Salesforce.
Yeah, but Force, then it can be Force Heroku, Force Desk, Force whatever, and it just becomes Google. But Salesforce still has, people say the word Salesforce all the time.
I kind of wish that I kind of, just going down this rat hole, I kind of wish that Heroku, Radiant 6, those are not at the tipping point where you couldn't change them.
Right.
Like, Google Salesforce would never roll out Google Dodgeball. No, they roll out Google Latitude.
Right.
They rename it to their own thing.
Right.
They could have renamed Salesforce Heroku.
Right.
They could have renamed Salesforce Radiant 6.
Salesforce
Walk down the street, who knows Radiant 6?
No one.
Nobody.
Right.
Could have renamed that whatever you wanted to.
Right.
Salesforce Social Engine.
There you go.
Whatever, right?
Salesforce, right.
So, there's a little, they could have done that.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Also, we started to get the SalesforceDo.com, but Salesforce isn't.com, so you got Salesforce.com.com.
Well, that's the thing. Salesforce.com, there's no .com. It's just Salesforce. Yeah, well, Salesforce Sales Cloud, Salesforce Service Cloud, SalesforceData.com.
So interesting stuff coming out of CloudForce.
Yeah. I will watch the video later. It's streaming live, 10 minutes from now.
Oh, okay.
You could go to facebook.com/Salesforce, and I'm sure the video will be up there.
Great. Well, I will watch it later. Maybe I'll be able to download it. I wish they'd put it out as a podcast like Apple does, because that's so nice, but they don't.
Yeah, they should do that.
Salesforce actually had podcasts before, and they kind of gave up on them, which is
They had the training things as podcasts.
Yeah.
And they were bad. I watched them. They didn't work well.
All right, let's do a little sort of sad news, I guess.
I'm nostalgic about this. I caught this morning, and AOL Instant Messenger, is unofficially dead.
Oh.
So it's not official dead, but essentially the AOL Instant Messenger group took a huge cut as part of AOL basically sacked its entire IM team.
Right.
And the whole team has just been killed off.
Right.
All the developers, all the people that basically make AIM work. AIM, to me, was the start of... I don't want to say the start of the social network, but it was it took what chat rooms were and predated SMS and predated Twitter and it was that connection, that one-to-one quick burst of, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing this. Can we chat for a second? Da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And the things that now happen over iMessage and the things that happen over SMS and the things that happen over Twitter and Twitter direct messages and comments on Facebook and
there used to be only two ways. Not two ways.
Well, you had email and you had AIM.
Well, the ways to communicate is phone, email, and chat. And chat really was AIM for the longest
AIM.
time.
There were other ones like ICQ, and then AIM bought them, I believe. And Yahoo Messenger, which was never really very good.
Right.
But basically Google Talk swallowed them.
Right.
And then Twitter and SMS, and those things just, I mean, I sit here and, you know, we're on Instant Messenger or Messages, and we message each other, but...
Interesting, we're using the Jabber side of it.
We're using Jabber.
Yeah.
But, like, all my friends, I'll just text in a group of iMessage or in a WhatsApp. Like, there's so many different ways to communicate, like, and you don't have to be in front of a computer to do what you used to have to be in front of a computer to do. So it's a little sad. I mean, I remember in my college days, AIM was the way to, like, I mean, it was the status update. You'd go to AIM and they'd be away, and their away message was where they were.
Right.
And you'd send them a note like, hey, ping me when you get back, and you'd get that little auto response. Right. I'm wherever I am.
Right.
That was like the status message, right? Like that nowadays happens elsewhere.
Right.
And I totally get it from AOL's perspective. Like, you know, GChat has totally taken over Facebook, Twitter. They're all
way too many competitors.
It just doesn't make a difference. It's ubiquitous.
And I like chat for what it's useful for, but it does sort of show its age when you start to you know, in this day and age, you know, I talk about, you know, productivity a lot, but like that whole having myself available to have sort of people be able to pop up and get in my face. Like I turn it on when I can do that, but most of the time I keep it off because I don't want to do that.
Right.
Although I will say, and again, AIM, whatever. Video chat I'm using much more. Like we have people who are not in the office, and I mean now before picking up the phone, before texting, I would just go video chat. I don't even type anymore because like I don't want to have a type. I can use video chat, great screen, whatever, and we'll have 30-40 minute conversations, bring in other people, and have video chat, which to me is great. I mean that's where it should be. It's like I want to be able to video chat with people because that's...
And again, we're doing that on Google,
right?
On Jabber via Google.
Yeah,
whatever that little
using iChat
relationship, wherever that little relationship exists.
Well,
but
Jabber is the
protocol.
The protocol, yeah.
So that's where we are with our communications. Again, AIM. Just thinking back to how useful it was in my college days of like, hey, what are you doing tonight? We didn't text each other because that really didn't exist. Instead of picking up the phone, it was just very simple because you could be talking to like 7 people at one time.
Yep.
And they've gotten a lot better. Like I think Instant Messenger has gotten better, but there's only so far it can really go. And it's one of those innovators' dilemma type of deals. Like we have this thing that hundreds and millions of people are using, but eventually it's going to get overtaken by the next thing. But we have this thing that has 100 million people using it. Like, why should we go do you get caught in that dilemma of what do I do? And basically at the end of the day, you shut it down.
I think this has actually less to do with AIM than it has to do with AOL. AOL is a dying thing. Instant messaging, I think, has, again...
Well, one of the ones that swallowed it is the same thing.
Right. So
it's GChat.
Right. Or GChat, or even iMessage, which is actually Apple getting into chat farther than they used to be into chat. So it's not the chat.
With their own protocol.
Right, with their own protocol, and that is multi-device.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. I think it's that AOL, sort of a company that, was a leader at one point and has just
AOL was the internet.
Yeah, but they have disappeared.
In the early, you didn't go on the internet, you went on AOL. It wasn't double-click Internet Explorer, it was double-click AOL, browse the internet, go to a chat room, talk to your friends.
There was a way, I remember in the early versions, you actually were always in AOL,
right? And
if you wanted to go out to the actual web, there was a big button or something, and you would then launch inside the AOL. You'd launch a browser window.
The browser inside of AOL.
And it was always like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, what could you possibly get out there?
Yeah. All the content's in AOL.
Yeah. You have chat rooms. So again, I think it's much more about AOL as a company. Again, bought and sold. I don't even know who owns it. I know Time Warner then merged and whatever. They tried to be a content company for a while.
That was a strategy of theirs. They bought up the Huffington Post.
Yeah.
Did they buy TechCrunch? I don't recall. But Huffington Post was a big one that they purchased.
But if you asked me what AOL is anymore, I'd say they were the creators of AOL Instant Messenger. They were one of the first gateways onto the internet that survived sort of the big purge. But now they're just
email.
Yeah.
Like the You've Got Mail. Like that was huge.
Yeah.
You'd log in, You've Got Mail. Sweet. I can go check my mail.
You've been made into a movie.
That's pretty awesome, right? So,
all right, well, I'll pour a little out in my cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little sad.
Not really.
It was like it was like, you know, when you're a kid, you grow up, that was like my thing.
I'll cry when they kill off email.
Yeah, that's going to be a while. Yeah. That's not happening.
All right, well, let's pick some stuff that's in the future. Not in the past.
Let's do it.
Let's do our CloudFocus App pick of the week, and you can go first. I see your pick, and I know what it is.
Yep. So I'm going to pick one that I used today. Not today, but this previous week.
Okay.
Picking eBay Mobile for iOS.
Feel like you picked this before.
I have not.
You sure?
I picked PayPal.
Same company,
so I'm picking,
but okay.
Well, eBay's the parent, so they win.
Okay.
I never realized how useful eBay Mobile was until I was selling something on eBay.
Right.
And kept getting the little pings when someone was bidding on my stuff.
Right.
And I love that. I just like to
push notifications.
Yeah.
Okay.
Push notifications on the iOS device that someone bid on my thing, or someone asked a question and I can answer it. I was selling something as per normal.
Can you publish it right from your
iOS
device?
I did it on the website, and it was super simple. They've made it so eBay has gotten so much better.
All right,
you basically type in what you want to sell, and it just has this enormous database of everything that's ever been sold. It's like, do you mean this thing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and then boom, it just fills the whole thing out for you.
Okay,
and then you say. You put a picture in, you hit publish, it's done. It's one step. It's so simple. It used to be, I remember, a headache.
Yeah.
But now it's just dumb simple. So I was selling a pair of headphones that I purchased, and they were the wrong ones. And I purchased them online, so I couldn't really return them to the website where I bought them from. And so I said, I'll just eBay them. And as per normal, my starting bid price was 99 cents. Because I figure, I know that these should go between $70 and $80. That's where I think they're going to sell. Why should I put them up there for $50 or $60 or $70? I'll just put them up for 99 cents and let the market just dictate what these things are worth.
Right.
They sold for $78. Exactly where I thought they would sell for. So it's perfect. But eBay Mobile was great because I kept getting these notifications of people bidding, people asking questions, and I was able to like check in and look and see and just have an idea of what was going on with my device, and I really liked it.
Cool. I've had it for a while.
I've had it forever. I don't sell things that often.
And I literally just started it up because I want to answer the question, which is, could you sell?
Yeah, you can scan a barcode of something,
and it will then fill out everything for you to sell. Because that's like,
and it will sell it. Okay, I thought it was just a search, but I guess it will sell.
This is for selling. So you can actually scan and sell right from your iPad or I guess iPhone. That's very cool because it was always sort of the pain. And I'll tell you, we started this with what to do with your iPad, your old iPad. I have an old iPhone, the iPhone 4, been sitting. It's perfect in the box. It's like it's been sitting because I keep like, I should go sell that. I'm like that momentum to get out the camera, not get out the camera, but to take the picture, to upload it, to pick out all the stuff. I'm like, then it's when it sells. You got the like 3 days to get it shipped. Like all that stuff makes me go, I'll wait till I have enough. So now I'll have more than a few devices to sell. So I'll put that in. Maybe
I know the app that you use because I used to use it myself.
Yeah.
Because eBay.com was a pain.
It was horrible.
But now it's just so much better.
Well, that's cool.
Because, again, they use their database of everything that's kind of ever sold. And if you're selling something like an iPhone or a pair of Bose headphones, they're pretty standard. Right. They have the actual device. They know the SKUs. They know everything, related to it. And then, in this case, I didn't take a picture. It was a thing in the box. So I grabbed the picture from the website.
Right. Cool. eBay Mobile for
iOS. I mean, it's a really obvious pick, but
so my pick is going to be something that it is sort of a pick. It is sort of available. It's kind of my way of bringing it into the news cycle since I didn't get to write the agenda. But it is something that I've been following for many months now. So here's what it is. So here's the scenario. Look at me. Don't look at the screen. Look at me.
I was going to look for that.
I know. That's why I'm going to keep your attention. So here's the scenario. You like watching TV. Right?
I love TV.
Right? And you like watching real-time sports, right?
I love real-time sports.
Right? But you can't watch TV on your iPad.
I can.
Can you watch TV? Meaning CBS right now. Pull up CBS right now and watch TV on your iPad.
Right now, sitting in this office, I cannot.
No.
Unless I had a sling box.
And here's the thing. There's a reason for that. And the reason is because there are huge laws against rebroadcasting TV signals. Meaning there's TV all around us.
Right.
HD TV.
There are.
Right around us.
Right.
They don't, for some reason, Apple and all that have not decided to build in TV tuners because they're too big or powerful or whatever into these devices. So you can't sit there with your iPad and like pick up TV signals and watch it. Okay.
Right. They never even built radio signals into that.
Right. So that's the past. But with all these things, we have Netflix streaming, but they're all sort of past things. If you want to watch what's on TV right now on your computer or on your iOS device, there's really not a good answer for it.
Unless you're home and you have the apps from your cable providers.
From the cable providers,
and
if those are the channels, and if you're home. And the reason, but let me tell you.
You can watch, I understand.
It's only the channels that allow you to.
Really? It's not every channel on your entire
No, it's only the channels
television?
They allow. Nope, they have to make special deals with them. And here's the reason. So here's what's weird. There's free TV all around us.
Everywhere.
But I can't watch it on my device because there's all sorts of restrictions.
Because it's not a television with an antenna.
So if I put an antenna in my house and picked up television and then could figure out how to get that antenna over to me, stream it to me, I could then watch it anywhere I want. It's my antenna. I control it. I'm picking up free airwaves and put it to me. Fine, that's kind of cool. But no one wants to do that, and I'm with streaming technology. I'm not going to build streaming boxes. So this company, I don't know, actually, I think it's Aereo is the company. This came out 6 months ago, and I remember reading it going, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. What they're saying is they're getting around the law, and they've already been sued 4 or 5 times. But they're getting around the law by saying, we have created a tiny, it's literally like the size, less than the size of a postage stamp, HD TV tuner, this big.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is we're going to put them in a space in somewhere in the city. We'll put thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them. And you, as a subscriber, you are subscribing to one of them.
Oh.
It's yours.
Cool.
It's your antenna.
Can I decide where it goes?
Therefore, since it's your antenna, that content is yours to do what you want. I'm not taking one antenna, right? This is the difference. I'm not taking one antenna and sending it out to different people.
Right. It's your antenna.
It's your antenna.
Can I put it wherever I want to put it?
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
They have it. But what can you do? You
can
stream live TV to any device that's in that metro area,
right?
And you can record it and DVR it.
But this is only things that are on broadcast television. That's because
correct.
it's just a signal. So basically, it's basic television.
Basic television, which is all in HD now. All the games, all of our
beloved,
not
all the games.
Well, our beloved sports are all
football. All football games are on CBS.
So you can watch live Fox. TV on your devices. You can watch it on thing.
But I can't watch a cable channel.
You can't watch a cable channel. You can DVR it. You get HD quality. There's no equipment at all.
Where can I watch this? On my iPad or my iPhone or my
computer? Yes. And it's $12 a month.
$12 a month subscription?
Yes.
Why would I not just buy a Slingbox?
Well, here's the thing. Slingbox is your tuner in your house.
That's right.
This is a different tuner. This means I can have. Well, it doesn't matter what's going on in my house. My house could be off.
I get it.
It's a separate thing. It's like a separate TV signal.
See, Slingbox.
First of all, Slingbox is great, but it doesn't really work that well.
It works pretty good. I had the first Slingbox, the most basic one. It didn't have HD, and it worked pretty well on my iPad, on my laptop.
You have to own a device.
Right. One-time purchase.
You then have to go buy the apps. They're all pay apps.
I get it.
$20, $30
One-time purchase.
One-time purchase each. And then you have to set it up, and it has to be connected to, and you get only the things that you have access to on your cable box that are playing.
Live television.
Right.
Which is exactly what you're getting here, except you're getting a lot more.
You're basically getting another cable. You're
not getting another cable.
Well,
you're getting another 5 channels live.
Well, there's about 20.
20?
Yeah, there's 20 channels.
Like what is the 20 channels?
I don't know.
Like 5 versions of ABC?
Yeah.
Because that's like, to me, subscribing $12 a month to get ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, PBS, and like 3 other channels, maybe.
It's great.
No.
If you go into a new house, and you have more than one bedroom, and you throw another cable receiver into another bedroom, how much does that cost you? It's another $15 to $20 a month.
That's totally more worth it than this.
No, because this is anywhere.
I get it's anywhere, but it's like 5 channels.
It's what's on TV. And it's DVR.
But I don't even watch live TV.
And it's DVR, so you can DVR up to 40 hours worth of stuff.
It's so not worth it.
So you can pick your favorite shows.
You know what? Shows. It's impressive as a technology. It's not impressive as a I want this thing.
No, it's absolutely.
It's so unnecessary. Slingbox kills that, in my opinion.
First of all, Slingbox is owned by a cable company, and they're not doing anything with it.
I know, but once if they rolled the Sling technology into a cable box, which they're gonna do, I think Time Warner maybe owns them or something like that.
No,
somebody
owns
them.
Or
that is so much better than this. Hulu thing.
Yeah.
They're old by a day? Like, can't you watch...
They're a day. They old.
Right. So, I don't watch live television. The only thing I watch live are sporting events.
Sports.
That's the only thing I ever watch live.
I know.
So, but my Knick games, my Yankee games, they're not on broadcast television.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Well,
no,
Channel
they're
9,
not.
Channel 11?
They're not.
None of them?
No. Yankee games are on, yes. There's like 20 Yankee games a year out of 162 that are on broadcast television.
Well, that's the Yankees.
There's like a handful of Knick games on broadcast television. The national games are on TNT and ESPN. Those aren't broadcast television. So it's like, to me, this thing doesn't. It's for football, is what you're telling me.
No, it's a separate TV in your house.
Wow, we just went long on your pick.
Yeah. I want another TV in the house, but I don't want to have another TV in a cable box. I don't want to be beholden to RCN or Time Warner anymore. I want to be able to. Someone in my house likes to watch The View. It's on cable. It's on regular television.
Right.
They could record it. They could watch it. They could watch it on multiple iPads. They could watch it wherever they are around the world, streamed to them. There's no device to own, no power, no setup, nothing. That's worth something.
It's worth something. It's not worth $12 a month.
$12 a month is it's a start. I think it depends. For me, I would.
Are you gonna get it? Can you get it so I can see it?
Only available in New York City, and to start because that's where they've started it. And I've requested a invite. But yeah.
So when you get it, I'll have a better opinion of it.
I am excited about there because there are things I like to watch. What I don't like about it is now it's like there's this stuff that's on Aereo that I can watch, and there's stuff on. But for me, live television, in a household where I don't want to own other boxes that I'm going to pay more than that for, that are going to have less ability in some ways, more ability in other ways.
Do I need to be connected to the internet? I assume.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking of like practical use cases for it when we're tailgating.
Yes.
We can have an iPad that we can watch the live game that's on the channels.
That's correct.
That's fun.
Yep.
That's fun. I mean, there's other ways to do that that don't,
there are, but bring a TV.
Yeah, bring a TV.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's great. Television on your terms. Here's what's interesting. They're being sued tremendously by the television. So here's why I know it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because if studios are suing them, that means there's something that they're saying that you're rebroadcasting it. Their argument is we're not rebroadcasting it. It's theirs. It's really interesting. I signed up. I can't wait to try it.
When the big boys sue you, you're onto something.
You know you're onto something. It's invitation only. It's called Aereo, Aereo. Only available in New York City. Invitation only. But I kind of want to talk about
this. Shouldn't have even been a pick. This should have been a.
It should have been
conversation.
But it is.
It turned into a conversation.
There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. All right, well, that's it for the CloudFocus Weekly for this week and our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week. Head to blog.arkusinc.com for all the episodes, all the blogs. Follow us on at Twitter at Arkus Inc. or Jason M. Atwood or Just Edelstein, which is Justin here. We're on Facebook. We're using the new timeline view on Facebook with a nice big
looks cool.
Nice big Arkus cloud.
I like it.
Facebook.com/Arkus Inc. ARKUSINC. Subscribe on iTunes, of course, or in Instacast, which we're big fans of now. And you can also comment on the blog post and any of the episodes in any one of those places. If you hit us up in any one, we generally respond and we'll talk to you. So that's it.
I really like this timeline view for us, for a company. Like anytime you post like a blog post or a podcast, it shows up when I like it.
Yeah, it's great. So that's the end of the episode. I'll wait to see if Justin has one more comment.
We should put milestones in this.
All right. And until next week, enjoy those cloudy days.